McCann back in the lineup. You pretty confident he's feeling okay?
Yeah. He felt pretty decent yesterday, but it was, it's also a day game after a night game. That's why we gave him off. So he was available to me yesterday, so I feel pretty good about it.
Gardner?
Just a day off.
How much do you feel like sometimes guys just need a good day when you're in a long stretch like this?
Well, yeah, you worry about them, especially when they're doing a lot of running, your speed guys a lot. And even the other guys, you feel that playing 17 days in a row is probably pretty physically tough on them. Day games after night games, all the travel, getting in late. And Girardi hasn't had a day off in a while, so I felt like today would be a good day.
Do you have Betances or Robertson today?
I don't know. Betances I will not use. I will check with Robbie to see if he's available.
The way you had to use your bullpen yesterday, how much do you think the starter knows he needs to give you length today?
Well, I think they're aware of it. But they don't ever go out thinking that I only want to pitch 3 innings. I think they go out thinking they want to pitch 9 all the time. So, but we do need some distance from David.
With Joe, I think yesterday Huff said that he may be stretched out enough to go in the starting rotation if you need him in a pinch. Is that an option?
Well, we haven't made any adjustments to our rotation, but he's been up to 61 pitches for us. I'm not sure how many pitches he threw in those 4 days, probably 75, 80. So he's more stretched out than when we got him, but we haven't made any changes.
Of what the A's did?
Oh, they made a big move. Obviously, they've had some injuries to the rotation. And they went and got two pretty good pitchers. The guys that have had a lot of success. Hamill's used to pitching in a pennant race, so he understands what it's like. Samardzija is an opportunity to get into a pennant race, and I'm sure he's excited about it.
For a team that was already pretty good and had a lot of weapons, to add that this early, what do you think that does for them?
Well, I think they were aggressive, and they had some pretty good prospects that the Cubs liked, so they're obviously going for it.
Glad to see they're not in your division.
Yeah, really glad, and we don't have to play them anymore.
Joe, has the game changed so much? In the past, guys would just play every game of the year, and you really have a dedicated process of resting guys. Has the game changed a lot?
Well, I think one of the things that we deal with here, Michael, is age. We don't have 25, 26-year-olds running out there every day. And, you get your speed guys, and they're on the bases a lot, and they're running a lot. Their legs can get sore, and you worry about them physically, that they hurt something. That's what you worry about. So, but I think when you look at our squad, a lot of it has to do with age.
So you consider like a 30-year-old a guy over 50?
Well, a lot of times if you have a guy 30 going to be 31, he's, I've been on some teams where that's one of the older guys. But on this team, he happens to be a young guy, and I don't remember the last time Girardi's had a day off. I really don't. And you think about, he's played a bunch of days in a row. He had 2 day games after night games. He's about the only guy that hasn't had a day off, and I felt that, I was watching him run, and you see him stretching a lot, that, you get a little bit concerned. So you just take the initiative, I'm going to give you a day.
Do you think the days of guys playing 162 are pretty much over?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a ton of that from players. I don't. But Girardi's leading our team in at-bats, I think, plate appearances. You might see a young kid do it, but you're not going to see a ton of it. Travel's grueling. And as you know, we never get into towns early, even when we have day games. Something happens.
How much do you think that is due to the monetary commitment that teams are making to players now?
Well, I think that has something to do with it, but I think it's just trying to be smart and keeping guys on the field for the long haul, opposed to maybe playing them, half the season, then they have to go on the DL for 2 weeks, because of a pull or an injury.
Do you marvel now at what Ripken was able to do?
Oh yeah, I marveled at it back then.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Have you had internal discussions about the starters maybe changing something? Or you?
No, we talk about situations, but I mean, we at no point have we said the rotation's changing.
So your starting depth was the strength of yours back in the spring. Now you're looking, Nova's done for the year, CC's probably done for the year, Pineda's not coming back for at least a month and a half, it seems. Are you worried about the state of your rotation, given some of the things we've talked about with Whitley's innings and the inexperience of a couple of other guys?
I mean, we don't have the depth that we had. I mean, are there some adjustments that we could possibly make if we had to? Yeah. But going into, coming out of spring training, you knew that you had Nuno, Phelps, and Warren, the guys that had started before. If you needed to start in a pinch, or someone went on the DL for a couple weeks, but we don't necessarily have that experience. We don't have, I would say the guy that's probably had the most starts and the most build up maybe in the minor leagues is Green, and he started to throw better, but we don't have a ton of depth right now.
Do you think you have answers within the organization to get where you need to go, or do you think?
Well, that's a decision for Brian to make. That's not my decision, and I always say my job is to manage the guys in the room, and that's what I'll continue to do.
Well, these are the 5 you have going forward. It's going to be tough to get through a season with guys who haven't gone a full season like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's they can. It's something that we'll have to see. We've had to use our bullpen a lot lately, in the last couple days, so. We do need some distance out of our next couple starters, and that can always change, what's going on and how you feel physically.
How much did the CC news alter sort of the way you looked at your rotation going forward here? I mean, you guys were, 4 days ago, you were talking about him being back after the break.
Well, I mean, it alters it some, definitely, because that's obviously more depth, and you're getting CC back. But, I mean, there's still other things that we have to, in a sense, that's one guy, but you got to get distance out of a couple other guys as well. So, but it definitely altered it.
Anything on Pineda? Anything new?
He's playing catch. He's up to 90 feet. I think the hope is at the end of the week, next week or whatever, you start to get him on a mound.
And that would start like a 6-week spring training if he gets on the mound?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. He starts throwing bullpens and stuff, yeah.
Joe, have you spoken to CC since this latest
I
news?
did. I talked to him yesterday and told him, we're going to get through this. You got to stay positive and you're going to get through it. We don't know what the course of action is going to be, but, got to stay positive.
Is he down? As to what he was
well,
doing?
I mean, CC loves to compete. We all know that. So I'm sure he is down. But unfortunately, it's part of the game, that you have to deal with. Injuries are part of the game, and you got to figure out how to get through them.
Have you got more out of Robertson than you thought?
Yeah. I think from the amount of games that he's played, he's done a really good job for us. And we've said he swung the bat better than the numbers have indicated, but he's a very smart player, and he's done a really good job. The day he had, you get tired from one day.
Smarter hit one of those over the fence. He could have jogged.
That's right. He tried. But one he got to kind of pull up, the one that bounced in. That was the one I didn't want to bounce in.